Welcome to Doron Yoga, everyone. Today we're going to look at shoulder stand. Shoulder stand, Salamba Sharvangasana, literally translates as supported shoulder stand because we have the hands there. There is an unsupported shoulder stand where the hands are on the side. We'll look at that at a different video. Today we'll look at the basics, how to get in, how to adjust the shoulders, the neck, how to be in the pose, and how to modify if you do have pressure on the neck, how to use the blankets. So we're going to look at everything from the Ashtanga to the Iyengar systems and all the modifications, even to one of my things, which is the block stand for really beginners. So really watch through the entire video because there's a lot of different options. That's great for you as a practitioner, as well for you if you're a teacher, okay? So thanks, Kasia, for joining us. We're going to go right into it. We're going to lay down on our back, or you guys will stay and watch, I hope. And then to come into the pose, one of the challenges is to roll the shoulders under, which is extremely important to create space for the cervical spine, for the neck. So we're going to go in through the halasana, the plow pose. The legs will come up and over. And now that the legs are over, it's easier to, as you can see Kasia doing, it's easier to roll the shoulders as much as possible. She's even using the clasp of the hands to get more. And they're really tight now. It won't work like this for everybody, but we're working towards this. From here, the hands will come to support the back, and the legs will come up to the sky. Now, as you can see, Kasia already walked the hands down. And so when we're saying walk the hands down, it really means up the back because you're going towards the upper back. And this helps create more of a vertical position with the whole body. This vertical position is one of the reasons why in many languages this pose is called a candle pose, right? And so we're going to keep the hands on the back here, the legs up. If this is too much, there's a 3/4 of the way option where the hips are a bit lower, as you can see now, and the legs are not all the way over their hips. They're a little bit forward towards the head side. This is a great place to work to start with. If you're up in shoulder stand and you can't straighten up, don't worry, it will happen over time. Patience is a virtue. So we're going to go all the way into the shoulder stand. Feet. As far as the feet goes, some people say flex the feet. Some people say point. I say floint, right? So as you can see right now, the toes are facing down, balls of the feet are facing up. This really creates energy here, which some people can call it parabandha or parachakra. And there's a really, it activates it. But if you're like, oh, dude, I'm chilling here for 45 seconds, just relax and you don't have to do that, okay? When we're looking here, we want to make sure the shoulders are as much as possible tucked as we saw, and that there is space for my fingers to go through. In this case, you can see they're barely going through, right? One way to peek down is see if there's light. There is light. That means the cervical spine is off the mat, so it's good, but it means that it may be borderline pressure on the neck. And so we're going to come down now and look at variations, how to do it with a blanket. Kasia will take the legs over towards the head, hands on the mat to slow down the descent, and then slowly down, and take a moment here if you want, even knees to the chest if that feels good, or just lay down, whatever feels good. Shoulder stand is a whole sequence of a practice, and we'll do another video for the whole sequence. But today, we really want to learn and see the nuances, the little details about it to get to do it correctly, okay? So for those of you that when even laying down, right now it's easier to have the full hand down. You can see my fingers are going through. But when we're up with the legs and the whole weight down, it changes. These are kind of Mexican blankets. Sometimes people call them yoga blankets. Really, any blanket works. I like to fold them so that there's no crease where the neck is going to go. And, you know, why not do it with a Zen mind and make it really nice and perfect, one stacked over the other. We'll put them on the mat. And some people need only one blanket. Some people need 2 blankets. Some people need even more. And if that's the case, you actually fold the mat. And you can see this gives quite a lot of height here, so that when the shoulders are here and the head is here, there's a lot of space for the neck. We're going to do it without folding the mat because I know Kasia actually does need some support with the blanket, but not as much. So we put the blanket in a way where her head can even rest on the mat. She's bringing her shoulders close to the edge, really almost to the edge. And then from here, we're going to come up again. So again, through or without halasana. This time halasana would have kicked my face, so thank you for respecting me. I should have moved. Once Kasia is up, you will have to check, have somebody, ideally a teacher, but if not somebody else. Sometimes you can move even a little more if you feel that C7, the cervical bone number 7, that's the lowest vertebrae of your neck. If it's on the blanket, on the edge of it, right now it is for Kasia, but does it feel okay? Mm-hmm. But if it feels okay, no problem. If not, scooting another centimeter towards the edge of the blanket, quarter inch, half an inch, and then making sure it's free. But you can see now my hand goes under her neck very freely. Does this feel a little better? Yes. She said yes, if in case you haven't heard. She said pretty strong yes. It really makes a huge difference for people. Legs are straight, feet together, and gaze is drishti towards the toes. Some people like to look at their belly, move in and out. That's great if you don't have any stories about your belly. But otherwise, look up and just stay as calm and as focused as can be. Shoulder stand is normally held for 25 breaths. And some practices like Shivananda, even 8 minutes or longer. Start again with 5, 10 breaths and then build it up. Here we go. So to lower down again, the legs go over the head. Hands are on the mat. And slowly coming all the way down. Okay? After shoulder stand, we always practice the fish pose, but we'll leave that for a separate video. I want to show you one last option, one last variation, and I call it the block stand. And the block stand, some people can't lift to any of the variations we've done. And you know, it's not that uncommon. If you've been practicing it all the time, sure, for you, hey, no problem. I had a student that she was trying to lift up, it just didn't work. So the trick was to take fish pose, to take actually bridge pose, that is. So laying down on the mat, lifting the hips as if you're going to do bridge, a block, placing the block underneath the lower back, and the person, in this case maybe you, will have to adjust it a little bit to find where it's comfortable for them. And from there, lifting the legs up. The beauty of this is that you're still getting the inversion, right? You're still getting the blood flow from the feet down. There's still energy on the hips down. It's not a shoulder stand per se. You're not pressing the shoulder. And some people claim that one of the biggest advantages of the shoulder stand is the Jalandhara Bandha, is the chin to the throat, because it really helps regulate the thyroid, which is important. So if you need to, Kasia already did it, she can bring the chin a little bit towards the throat to get the same effect. It's not a bad thing because either way, it lengthens the back of the neck, creates a bit more space when we bring the chin to the throat. If it's not very comfortable, don't worry about it. You can relax your head, which is what I would say. This will still give great benefit. Keeping the drishti, once more, the gaze towards the toes and just resting here. This is really a fabulous variation when even some days like you're on your cycle, you're pregnant, guys too, right? Some days I feel like I'm getting my period. I'm like, no energy today, leave me alone. Take the block stand. Here we go, let's come down. Kasia almost didn't want to come out of this. There's one last variation, which is kind of similar to the block stand. With or without the block, just go put your legs on the wall. Viparita Karani, inverted pose, right? The legs are up and you're sitting there with the legs up on the wall, and that's a very, very chilled version. I love doing that when I was teaching many classes, between classes, sometimes 10, 20 breaths of Viparita Karani, legs up on the wall. Fabulous reset, okay? So recap, shoulder stand, shoulders roll under, and creating the space, like we said, between the shoulder blades. Turn around. Here, let's actually see that for a second. Sorry, before you go, right? This is what it looks like, right? And when we roll the shoulders a bit, not too much, we don't want it pinching, But you can see there's a lot more space for the neck because now the shoulders are going to be on the ground and the weight is on the shoulder. If it's the opposite way, it can be that there's too much pressure. And here you can see it actually, just a hint sticking out. This is the C7, the cervical. Most of you, if you palpate, if you touch behind your neck, you can easily feel it. It literally sticks out for almost every human being I met, okay? So rolling the shoulders under is super important. If that doesn't work, thank you. If that doesn't work, using the blankets as we proposed and showed you to do them. When you're on the blankets, remember shoulders very close to the edge of the blanket, so there is space for your head and neck. Gaze towards the feet, support yourself with the hand, and try to breathe slow, deep, minimum 10 breaths. Over time, build it up to 25 breaths before you continue to plow in the exit, okay? So this is the basics. After you practice this a few times, please do check out our video of the full shoulder stand sequence, because you must, I would say, do the fish as an exit for this to balance the direction of the neck, okay? Thank you so much for watching. Let us know if this was helpful for you. Do share it. And until we see you next time, namaste. Thank you.